Greetings, patrons, and welcome to the October behind the scenes video. We've got some nice notes and responses from the cast of Othello. I didn't manage to get anything off anybody during scenes yesterday, but I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope if anybody comes up with something, I will be adding it before this video gets posted, obviously. So, for the moment, from me, without further ado, I'm going to pass you on to the cast of Othello, which was the last of the great tragedies for us to do live on Zoom from Q's Only, which leaves us with, just as a little side note from me, we have All's Well and The Tempest to do, and then we are through the full official canon, which is crazy. Anyway, here come some nice comments from the players involved with Othello. Enjoy.
Just showing you a little glimpse of vaccines. It's rather a Heath Robinson setup with the laptop on top of a box, on top of a stool, and a very old-fashioned screen to use as a background. But it seems to work.
Hello, this is Aliki. I was really nervous about Othello, even though I had two quite small roles. One of them is a clown, and clowns are my Achilles heel. I never feel that I'm funny in them. I never really know what to do with them except, funny voices and stuff. So anyway, I was really pleased with this because I found actually in the queue, one of the rare instances where you can really get the point of the line through the queue is I dare not say he lies anywhere, and my cue for the next line ended, "Why, man?" And it occurred to me that the joke in that scene was that this idiot thought he had to explain his jokes to everybody. And it really worked, and I'm so pleased. That's it.
Hello, I've literally just finished doing Othello online with Shakespeare. Thought I'd do a video straight away while I'm still on a high from it. I played Emilia, and yeah, honestly, I didn't think I would feel as much of a rush doing it online as I did, but it was a really fun experience. Also didn't think I would I'd feel the emotions as much as I did while playing her, but somehow it being online didn't take too much away from the intensity and the drama and the emotion. I got really moved unexpectedly near the end, and yeah, it was a strange experience, but a great one. Had such a good time. I feel like there's so much you can do online to give some sort of sense of realism. I think all the passes and all the fights and physical actions worked really well, were really, really clever. This is my first time doing it online with Shakespeare, and it was really fun, and can't wait to do it again. So thanks, Lizzie and everyone.
Okay. I think this is the right format. It might not be. So yes, this is my setup. 3-point light and everything. And I said to Lizzie after the play how very confused I was sometimes, because sometimes I felt like I shouldn't be on stage when I was. So I was hearing conversations that I thought weren't for me, and I think maybe that's just what happens to Cassio, because obviously poor guy is very much just thrown into this thing as an instrument for Iago, and it's always fun to watch Matt be a baddie. So that was fun. I had fun with the fights. Thank you, Fergus. That's pretty much it, because I'm exhausted, so confused, and I'm gonna go and have a tea now.
Hello. Well, we've not long finished our production of Othello. And yeah, it went well, I think. I hope if you saw it that you enjoyed it. I got to play Montano this time. Now, I'll confess, I couldn't remember who Montano was until I got my script. It's a relatively, I suppose you'd say, relatively small role, but what's interesting is it's one of those roles that go right through. So he turns up fairly early, it's about scene 4, scene 5. And then he's in the play, he sort of has moments in the play going most of the way through. He's not one of the central 4, obviously, because they are particularly famous, but he is somebody that has a journey. And I think that was what I appreciated this time, was that I got to play somebody who had a journey through. He gets a serious injury at one point, which may be a reason why you don't see him for another chunk of the play. He's also the person that gets to chase Iago off at the end, or at least chase after him. So that was quite satisfying. Yeah, and I think that he is looking at what's going on with the people in charge of him. He's looking at his general and looking at the horror that unfolds at the end. And it is overwhelming. I think he's one of those characters that allows you to see these authority figures in their actual light, or from the perspective of somebody who is maybe just below them. So he gives a kind of a familiarity to it. That's my take on it anyway. That's certainly how I was looking at Othello and Iago, and Desdemona and Emilia as well, when we were, in the middle of playing the scene. So I'm interested to know if that's what you thought as well. Maybe we'll find out at the Q&A or at some point in the future. Thanks very much.
Well, what an afternoon yesterday was for Othello. Yeah, I don't normally do a reflective video, at least I have occasionally, but there was something really, really unexpectedly, kind of shockingly powerful about yesterday. And it wasn't the racism. Because you think, I mean, in my head, I always think, well, this is the play where we're going to have to deal with racism. And okay, yes, it was there. And the horrible words were used, and I didn't change them. And I still think that was the right choice, because it's part of the play in a way that, other things are not necessarily in other plays. But it was the abusive relationships. It was the Emilia and Iago relationship. I mean, Odira and Matt were just stunning. I mean, we're all absolutely in pieces on the chat in the background. I mean, never mind what Ellie and Aaron pulled together as Othello and Desdemona. So, yeah, didn't see that coming. But always interested because, as I said, makes you think. I mean, that whole play could just be rewritten with somebody, trolling somebody on social media and, messing up their relationship through that. And you'd barely have to change a word. Yeah, but is that why we love him? It's part of why we love Shakespeare, I suppose. Anyway, on with the week.
Hi, everyone. This is Aaron Potts. I'm a relatively new addition to the company. I officially started in spring of this year and done a couple different plays. Most recently, I did Othello, playing Othello. And today I did a few scenes with some of our Halloween scenes, or some of our spooky scenes, as Lizzie so aptly calls them. So it's just been a really fun time, really getting to work with Shakespeare in this way. I've been familiar with Shakespeare since middle school, when I first did Romeo and Juliet, and I've always loved his work, and it's just, I think it's good. It's something great for all actors to try, and something great for all theater and film professionals to take a look at. And so I've really enjoyed the work, and I look forward to continue to work on this with the whole company.
So there we have some behind the scenes peeks and some insights into the actors from Othello, with another word from me, because every now and again I like to have a little chirp up as well. I must say it was absolutely brilliant to finally get Odira, who's done a lot of in-person work with us, but this is the first time I managed to get her into the online stuff, and I really hope we get her back again. She's not able to join us for All's Well, but every company is different, so it's been lovely to have her join us. And of course, to have Aaron to do our Othello was an absolute treat. So yeah, we do our best and we keep it going. So what else are we going to talk about? Well, I do have now, Stop Press, a few responses to scenes from yesterday, spooky scenes for Halloween, which I hope you very much enjoyed. We certainly enjoyed doing it. In the setting up of those, there were a bunch of new scripts that I put together. I mean, we've done the whole plays, but when we do scenes, I create a new script. And it's always slightly hairy doing a new script because you never quite know if everything's there and so, you know, if everything works. But it did. It went very well. We had a lot of fun. There were some lovely responses on the YouTube link, which is fantastic. And it was fun choosing the bits and pieces. I mean, Shakespeare does spooky, creepy, Halloweeny, ghosty, superstition-y kind of, and I can't remember who it was who mentioned it now. One of the players yesterday said he does love a dark night of the soul kind of moment, doesn't he? And it's like, yes, he really does. So anyway, here we have a few sort of after the scenes were over videos from scenes yesterday.
Hi guys, so finished doing shake scenes for this week. We had our Halloween shake scenes, and I'd just like to show you a few behind the scenes things. First of all, if you want to look at my nice exorcism kit, we have a lovely bottle of whiskey used to cast out demons, and as a personal in-joke, we had Playing Commedia as my exorcism book. The in-joke behind this one is that the exorcists are all fraudsters in the Henry VI scene. But the other personal in-joke is my dissertation was on looking at commedia dell'arte tropes within Shakespeare and characters like Dr. Pinch, who are fake exorcists, come up in lots of commedia tropes in Shakespeare, like in Comedy of Errors as well. So that was a nice little nod to that. Also, was because I didn't test the lighting and masks beforehand, because I wore a mask in the Scottish play scene, and then I turned off my ring light. I entirely light my scenes via ring light when recording. That it gave quite in the November sunset weather, it gave quite the perfect effect for the ghostly battlements of Elsinore Castle in late night / early dawn, when the ghost disappears. So it looked fantastic on screen. I was very delighted with how that came out. So little bits go a long way. Loved the variety scenes. Could not get over the amount of false cues in the Scottish play. Go back and watch and see how many of us are constantly going to speak and then not. It's very telling that Shakespeare clearly wanted the witches to be talking over each other and Banquo and Macbeth to be impatient and constantly interrupting them. It was a lot of fun. Happy Halloween.
And that's everything for this month. So thank you very much again, as ever, for your much appreciated patronage. We really are incredibly grateful, and we thank you so much for supporting us. We will be back on November the 20th, so 3 weeks rather than 2 weeks, with All's Well That Ends Well, which is now cast. I just this afternoon have had a text chat with Bridget, who's joining us again from America for the occasion. I'm not sure what else is going to happen, but then we never are. It's going to be an interesting play. It's a play with issues again, definitely issues, this one. I find it odd that people no longer refer to plays as problem plays, because when I was at school, All's Well and Merchant and Measure for Measure, and I think one or two others were referred to as problem plays, which I think suits them, because they're not comedies and they're not tragedies. And all right, they might sort of end with a sort of happy ending, but what they deal with inside of them is always too sort of dark and messy. It's like, I can't just stick a marriage on the end of this and call it a comedy. It doesn't work. But anyway, it doesn't seem to be the fashionable thing to call them problem plays anymore. So we're just doing All's Well That Ends Well next, whatever that is. And then in December, we complete the canon, this great journey through Shakespeare, which I never planned upon us doing, but I'm so excited that we got to do. So that's what's going to come next. We wish you a very good month, and may all continue very well with you and yours. And yeah, we will see you at the end of November. Until then, fare thee wells.